Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, ma'am. A very good evening. I hope you are doing great.
Yeah, I have seen you now, so I will be doing great now. Such
Thank you so much,
lovely
ma'am.
faces. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. I mean, we are truly honored to have you as our guest speaker today. So, we'll be starting the webinar shortly, and Tanusha, our vice president, will be moderating the session. Meanwhile, ma'am, if you have any questions or anything you would like to share before we begin, please feel free to let us know. Thank you once again for being here.
No, thank you for having me, and I don't think I have any questions. It's if somebody wants to ask me anything in respect to the topic that we would be speaking about, they are welcome. They can send whatever way. I don't know if there is that chat box or something. I'm too naive
Yes,
for
ma'am.
all. So maybe they can send and we can answer to that also.
Sure,
It's
ma'am.
a
We
it's a
have
big topic. It's a huge, vast. It is, but I don't think we would be able to go to every aspect and discuss it in that length. But still, I will try that. I would be able to at least give the basis or the basics of this topic. Okay.
indeed, ma'am. We truly understand. So,
Mhm.
Tanusha, you can start now.
Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, you're perfectly audible.
Great. So, a very warm welcome, ma'am. Ma'am, before I start, can you just let me know the pronunciation to your name just so that I'm not going wrong on that aspect?
I would want you to pronounce it first, then I will correct you in case there is a need.
Ma'am, if I am correct, it should be Mrs. Firdouse Wani, ma'am.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
Firdaus Wani, yeah.
great. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, a very warm welcome to everyone present here. Before we start, I just want to say this one particular quote which comes to me at the very start of this topic, of this webinar's topic, which we're going to discuss today. That is with respect to rights of women, property rights of women. So, women who own property are more likely to invest in their families, communities, and future generations, and it creates a ripple effect of empowerment. This was stated by Hillary Clinton. So, with this, we start. A very warm welcome to everyone. Our guest speaker, firstly, Mrs. Firdouse Qutb Wani ma'am, and all the esteemed guests and participants present today. Today, we gather to discuss a topic which is deeply intertwined with the principles of justice, equality, and empowerment, which is inheritance and property rights for women in India. The right to own property and inherit wealth has modern India has made significant strides to address this imbalance. However, societal norms and a lack of awareness still prevent many women from exercising these rights fully. Therefore, addressing these issues, it's not just about gender justice, but it is also about its economic independence, the freedom to make life choices, and most importantly, the ability to secure a future for oneself and future generations to come. Therefore, property and inheritance rights are essential tools of empowerment, and it ensures that women have access to them is critical for creating a fairer and more equitable society. Therefore, today I encourage each and every one of you to actively participate, ask questions, and engage in a thoughtful discussion, but only during the question and answer round. And also, please note that all participants are required to remain on mute during the session to avoid any kind of disruptions. The success of this webinar will depend solely on not what our speaker imparts, but also on the collective exchange of ideas and experiences amongst all of us. Now, coming to the introduction of our guest speaker, we are profoundly delighted to take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed guest speaker for today, Mrs. Firdouse Qutb Wani ma'am. She is an advocate on record at the Supreme Court of India and is a distinguished figure in the legal profession. Mrs. Wani has been named in the Forbes Legal Power List of 2020 to 21 as one of the top individual lawyers in India. She was also honored with the Legal Era Rising Star Award in 2021. Mrs. Wani serves as the additional standing counsel for the Delhi State Industrial and Infrastructure Development Corporation, representing the body before various high courts, tribunals, and the Supreme Court of India. She is also an amicus curiae appointed by the Honorable President of the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission and serves as a mediator at the State Consumer Redressal Commission. In addition to her exceptional legal career, Mrs. Wani is a tireless advocate for women's rights, handling several pro bono cases addressing the welfare of women and children, and she is also deeply committed to education, sponsoring the schooling of underprivileged children through her firm LCZF. We are truly fortunate to have you with us today here, ma'am, to shed light on this critical issue of property inheritance and property rights for women, and how ensuring these rights can uplift not just individuals but entire communities. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Mrs. Wani to share her insights and knowledge with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such an elaborate and long introduction. Anyway, see, whatever you said that echoed so much into my mind that very rightly you said that, this topic is very critical and it's crucial. Now, there is a quote which says that no freedom is secure if your property rights are not secure. So, if somebody does not have the right in a property, then somehow that person's life is sort of troublesome. Because imagine if there is a daughter and somehow the father is no more, or the mother is no more, or somebody who has to take care of that particular person, and this daughter won't get the rights in the property, so her future, we can say, would be in trouble. It's a different thing that people put in hard work and then they earn and gain property they are able to purchase. But if a property is already there and a woman is stopped from having a right in that property which belongs to her father, to her husband, to her mother, so that is something which is clearly against the principles of natural justice. So now today, straight away coming directly to this topic, which is the property rights of women. Now, of course, we will be specific to the country India, but in India there is a variety. We have Muslims, we have Hindus, we have Christians, we have Parsis, we have Sikhs, Jains, and at least till today, the personal laws are intact. Now, when we talk about the majority of the people, that is Hindus, so they are governed by the Hindu Succession Act. When we specifically talk about the rights of the women belonging to this particular community, Hindu. When we talk about Muslims and we want to know about their rights in the property, then we have to straight away go to the Quran and the Hadith. When we talk about Christians, Parsis, we have to go to the Indian Succession Act. And when we have to talk about Jains, Buddhs, Sikhs, then we again go to the Hindu Succession Act. Why I said it in the beginning, because it's very important that when a particular person belonging to a particular community is looking for their right in a property, then they should be aware that where is that and what is that law which actually they need to look into, which governs their rights in the property. So we have Hindu Succession Act, Indian Succession Act. For Muslims it's Quran. For Christians, Parsis, again it's Indian Succession Act. And for the rest of the communities who are also taken as Hindus, Jains and Buddhists, it's the Hindu Succession Act. Now, it's very, I do not really have to talk about it. We are aware that somehow, even today, the females are considered as second grade gender, and they have been harassed and they have been troubled, I won't say by the men, but by the society, and wherein we can see that it's mostly the females who have troubled the females. And unfortunately, when we talk about Hindus, till year 2005, the women technically did not have a right in the property of their fathers. And then the amendment came. Now, many of the women, they did have the property. For example, they had the Istridan. Once they get married, so they were having this property. Or they were gifted some property. So, what used to happen, that they were not able to use or dispose of that property. For example, there's a woman who has a chunk of land and she wants to dispose it off, sell it off. So she was not able to do it without permission of her husband. So this is what used to happen prior to 2005. Now it's very important that we should know one aspect, that is, when we talk about Muslims, from the initiation of this religion, from the commencement of this religion, the rights of women were already given in the Quran. And in respect to Hindus, Christians, Parsis, Buddhists, Sikhs, the law of the land, that is the parliament of this country, they have framed laws of inheritance for the rest of the community. So this is something which is very important to know, that for the rest of the communities, excluding Muslim people who follow the faith of Islam, the parliament framed laws for the communities in respect to their rights in the properties, and these laws were framed keeping in mind the different customs that are being followed by the different communities. So for example, when we talk about the Hindus, we cannot ignore Mitakshara and Dayabaga school. So that's something which we need to keep in mind. Now, when we talk about Dayabaga and Mitakshara, I am not sure if all of you are aware of these terms. Now, Mitakshara is something where from the very beginning a person is born, they are given co-personary rights. That is, they have the right in the ancestral property from the day they come into existence. And they can claim right, or they can claim share of the property even when the head of that undivided Hindu family is alive. But when we talk about Dayabaga, therein when the head dies, then only you can ask for the share. It's a huge difference, and we should be aware of this. Now, mostly Dayabaga school, it's followed in Assam, in West Bengal, in the northeast part of the country. And the rest of the country is majorly following Mitakshara law. And Mitakshara law, because of that, what was happening till 2005, when the son was born, the son automatically used to get the right in the property of the father or the family, because it was undivided family, but the women did not have. But after 2005 amendment, what was amended? Section 6 of Hindu Succession Act was amended. And the beauty of this amendment was that in case there is a family where the division has not yet happened, because I told you, that's why I explained Mitakshara in the beginning, that when the head is still alive, still you can ask for the division of the property. Now, for example, when this 2005 amendment came into existence and already the division has happened, the property already stands distributed, then it's a different case altogether. But in case the division has not happened, property is intact, 2005 amendment comes in place, females were entitled to equal share in the property as that of the sons. And thereafter, after this amendment came into existence, all those females who were born in a Hindu undivided family, they were given equal share, equal right in the property of their father. Now, getting property is not good enough. Once you get the property, then thereafter you should be able to use it as well. You should have the control of disposing it as well. So that is also taken care of by the Hindu Succession Act. Now, if we look into section 14 of the Hindu Succession Act, it provides that the woman will have complete wholesome right on the property that she has got. So section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act was amended and the daughters started getting right in the property like the sons. And section 14 gave them wholesome right in that property. Now the question arises that why section 14 was needed. When somebody gets the property, then it's understood that now she would be able to dispose it off or use it whatever way she wants. But unfortunately, we already were having this act, Hindu Women's Right to Property Act 1937, which gave right to widows to have or to enjoy the property of their husbands. So in that, they did not have the wholesome right. It was just a lifetime enjoyment in that property and they could not have disposed it off as well. That is why specifically section 14 of Hindu Succession Act provided that women will have complete wholesome right in the property that now they are getting as per the section 6 of the act. So now the women who belong to the Hindu community, they had all the rights. So this was kind of an evolution in the Hindu, in the Hindu women, for the Hindu women in respect to their rights in the property. Now, the issue also comes that when we see that because a woman is mother, she is a daughter, she is a wife. So the issue is that here we discussed about the daughter, that the daughter will get the right once she is born in a family. She will have the right like the sons in the family. That is all okay. Also, when a daughter, like most of us see that we are working and many of us are earning and we might purchase properties, we might own assets. So one is ancestral, that has come to us. Now we have the right to dispose of that, also to use that as we want to. Then there is a property which we have acquired, which we have self-acquired. So that also, there were days when without permission of the husband you could not have disposed it off. You could not have used it. But after the amendment, now the women who have purchased property with their own funds, they can dispose it whatever way they want to, even if she is married. And if we look into section 15 of this 1956 Act, that is Hindu Succession Act, it also talks about something where we can say the rights over daughter's property, mother's property or wife's property. So, firstly, for example, there is a daughter. She dies. Whether a mother can get the right in the property. So, we will have to see that this daughter who has expired, who is no more, if she has some children. If she has children, then the property will be first distributed amongst the children. If she has an alive husband, widower, then to him, and the mother can also claim. She will come into the third, because there is first is your the children and the husband, then the husband's heirs, then the mother and the father. So everything was made clear that in the manner a man's property was being distributed, similarly a woman's property would be also distributed. So this Hindu Succession Act now is sort of a foolproof act, and it has sort of protected the rights of women in respect to the ancestral property as well as the self-acquired property of the Hindu woman. Now, a very peculiar question which is asked at times that will go to, it's something which is very crucial also, this question which is asked is that, for example, there is a woman and her husband divorces her, like she gets divorced, and the husband is paying alimony once the divorce happens. Now, say for example the husband dies, then what happens in that case? The husband has an estate, whether this woman will have right in that estate or not. So, the answer to that is that this woman will not have any right in the estate of the husband who has divorced her. And alimony will also stop, because payment of alimony is a personal obligation that was put on the husband. Until he is alive, he will be making the payment. But once he is no more, his heirs cannot be compelled to. Now, in case the husband has failed to pay alimony as per the agreement or as per the decree that was passed by the court. Say for example, there are arrears. For example, every month the husband had to make payment of 50,000 or 5,000. It can be any amount. And husband has not paid for last 3 months, 4 months or for a year, and he dies. So all this amount has already accrued. It is already, the arrears are already there. So in that case, yes, a woman, a divorced wife, she can actually claim for the arrears on the estate of this husband. But she cannot say that now husband is no more, so I can claim from the estate of the husband for the future payment as well. No, that was a personal obligation. Once husband dies, alimony is gone. But if something was pending, that can be taken from the estate of the husband. So now, if we talk about Christians, so it's very simple in the Christians. Therein the Hindu Succession Act will not be applicable. Therein the Indian Succession Act will be applicable. And there also it is a son and daughter, both will get equal share. And in case of husband's property, first the children will get the share and then the mother will get the share. So only one unfortunate thing is there, that in case there is a son and he dies before the death of father. Now, say for example, there is a person named X. He dies. His father Y is still alive. Okay. Now this X dies, but he has a widow, he has a wife. So in that case, the wife won't be able to claim right in the property if the son dies before the death of the father. Otherwise, in the Christian law, equal share for the widow also. If the husband has a property, so whatever husband has left, if he dies intestate, then whatever he has left, she will have right on the property. Of course, it depends on that how many children she will have, the ratio and everything that is in every religion, for every community, that is to be seen. But the topic that we are dealing with today is actually that whether a woman will have right or not. Getting into that how much share she will get and all that, even in the Hindus, that in case the daughter dies and she has left a mother, she has left children, she has left a husband. The question is that whether mother will get the right in the property of daughter or not. Yes, she will get, but first it is to be seen that her children, they are sufficiently given their property and husband is also given. So that's a different question. But yes, of course, mother will have the right in the property of the daughter. Daughter will have a right in the property of mother, father. So there is this case also. Right now I am not able to recollect the name of the case, wherein basically there was this Christian woman who her husband died and her father was still alive, so she went back to her father's place and she started living there. Then what happened was that after some time, when the father also died, then her brothers pressurized her to leave the house. They said that this is our house, we have the right in the property, you do not have. And because in I should also explain this, that in some of the, like when we talk about Parsis and when we talk about Christians, the customary laws of the different places, that comes into place. So when we talk about this particular case, so Travancore Custom Law Act was applicable and it clearly said that the daughter will not get the right. So they told this woman that, see, this is the law that we have to follow, so you cannot stay here. But what she did was that she went to court, she filed a suit because she said, I do not have a husband now, I do not have father, I have no place. So, she was left haywire. So she filed this case and for her right in the property, but the lower court dismissed it. Then she went to High Court, and High Court said, yes, you will have the right in the property. And she said because it violates Article 14 of the Constitution and no personal law is above constitutional law. And then she was given right in that. But her brother still troubled her, and finally she went to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court gave her relief and she was given the property, equal rights in the property, and she was able to enjoy the property. So this is case of state of Kerala. Towards the end, if I recollect or my team is able to get the whole case name, then I will let you know. But this was state of Kerala where this incident had happened, and this is of long time back, that is of around 1985 or 86. So it is the females who have fought at that point of time, that now the fruits of their hard work is being actually enjoyed by the future generation. So now in the Christians, I told you about that. Then when we come to the Parsis, it is more or less same that of the Christians. The widow, they will get same rights as their children. Now, if a mother is alive, she's also a woman, okay? and her husband is not there, her son is there, and son dies, and she will have right in the property of her son. So the Parsi law is also clear, and when after this we talk about Sikhs and Buddhists, then we have to go back to the Hindu Succession Act. So there also it's all clear. Now coming to the Muslim law. So Muslim law, therein I began with this only, that in the Muslims, the law of inheritance was always there. The religion itself, the Quran itself provided that a daughter will have this much of right, a wife will have this much of right, a mother will have this much of right. Now, what happens is that in Muslim law, when there is a daughter and a son, so son will get 2 parts of the property and daughter will get the 1 part of the property. And if there is only daughter, there are no sons, no other daughters, so the daughter will get half of the estate of the father. Now, as far as the wife is concerned, if there is a woman and her husband dies, whether she will have right in the property of her husband or not, that's also a question. So the question is answered in the Quran itself, and it says that it is, after studying the Hadith as well and the other sources of the Islam, which prescribes about the rights of property, the inheritance law, the rights of Muslim men and women in the property, it clearly says that if there is a woman who loses her husband, whose husband dies, then if she has no children, because that has been always an issue. We have seen this, that if there is a woman and she has no children, then that woman is thrown out by her in-laws. Whether a Hindu, whether a Muslim, whether a Buddhist, it's a very peculiar situation which we have seen in all the religions, unfortunately. So the Quran says that in case there is a woman and she is, and her husband dies and she has no children, then she will receive 1/4 of the estate of her husband. So it's clearly given that she will receive something from the husband's property. It is not that she will be thrown out of the house or she would be put in the servant quarters, because I have dealt with a case where a doctor's wife was thrown out with, and in fact she had children also, and she was thrown out and she was told that now because your husband is no more, so you're not part of the family, you get lost. So that also happens. Now in case a Muslim woman is there and her husband dies and she does not have children, she can claim her right in the 1/4 of the estate of the husband's property. If she does have the children, so what happens is that in that case, because the property is also divided, given to the children, so a portion of the property will be given to the children and 1/8 of the property will be given to the wife. And the Quran very clearly says that the children will have the responsibility, they will have to bear the responsibility of their parents. Quran has not specifically provided that only sons will have the responsibility to take care of their parents, but the Quran says that the children, it clearly says that you treat your children, your parents, the way they have treated you when you were small. So it is for both, for the females as well as for men. So if there is only daughter in a family, she has to take care, maintain her parents, irrespective of what her husband says. If husband says that you cannot take care of your parents, that is something which is in every religion, I think. The females, they are not allowed by their husbands to be or to take care of their parents. And I think it's in every relation that a child, whether a girl or a boy, they should maintain and take care of their parents. So now, in case the parents are there and the child dies, so the parents will also have some right from the property of the child. So if a mother, because I told you in the beginning that we have to see that a woman is not just a woman, she is a mother, she is a daughter, she is a wife. So we have to see whether as a daughter she will have right in a property. Yes, she will have right in the property as a daughter. Currently we are talking about Muslim law. Yes, she will have the right in the property of her father. If she is a wife, yes, she will have right in the property of her husband. If she has children, then 1/8 of the property. If she has husband, then 1/4 of the property. And if she is a mother, yes, she will have the right in the property. We have seen many daughter-in-laws or the grandchildren throwing away their elderly grandmothers out. So no, these grandmothers, they do have right in the property of their children. So it's a different thing, how much they will get, but they will get it. And then the siblings also, because at times it has been seen, for example, there's a brother who has a property. A woman is there, she has a brother who has a property, and he does not have the children. The brother will not have the children. For example, he dies childless. So in that case, the portion that his widow is entitled to will get the property. She will get that portion, and the sister will also get the property, remaining property. So there also it's taken care of. Now, because I have dealt with a number of cases with the Delhi government wherein there have been cases where a son has killed father, where the daughter, where a wife has killed husband, and that then it is on all the religions, which is applicable to all the communities, Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims, everyone, that in case there is a murderer, then in that case he will not get any inheritance from that husband whom she has killed. I actually myself have given opinion in one of the cases where the wife had killed husband, and then she had applied for the mutation of a particular factory in her name. So in case there is a murderer or someone who there is a disqualification section also, clauses also in all the religions, so they will not get it. Now in Muslims there is Shia and Sunni. In both the sects, the women are getting, they are given rights in the property. Now in Shia law it's a bit lenient. In the Sunni law it's a bit we can say little rigid. In Muslims, whatever property a woman gets by way of inheritance, she has all the rights in the property to dispose it off, to sell it off. Now in Muslims there is one more thing, which is that in Muslims we have seen that you cannot have a will for a property for a share more than 1/3 of the property. If you want to make a will, for example, there is a father, and there are it's not with Muslims, it's with Hindus also, with Christians, with other people also. It's a general thing where men are fonder of the sons, for example, and they want that all the property they would want to give to their sons, and the daughter should not be able to claim. So in that, the Muslim law, it is already protected that you cannot make a will for more than 1/3 of the property. So in that situation, what happens is that only 1/3 a father can make will. Rest of it will be distributed as per the law. So daughters will get their right in the property. So nothing to be afraid of. Now, one more issue that I want to deal with in this session, and because people might, I'm not aware that if most of you belong to the legal profession or to any other, but this is an issue which comes to anyone's because property, everyone has the property, and the issues are very common to most of the households. So, in Muslims, what happens is that if a man has daughters, so that's what I said, that half of the estate will go to the daughter, and rest of it goes to the residuary members, that is to his brother, to his mother. Now, what happens is many a times a person thinks that I want to give whole of this property to my daughter only. Now he cannot make a will for more than 1/3 of the property. So what happens is that he can always make a gift deed. So whatever property he owns, he can actually, of course, half of the estate will go to the daughter anyways, and the rest of it he can always make a gift deed in favor of the daughter. So that way what will happen is that all the property can go to the daughter, because now the law is that a woman can have property. She can be owner of a property. There were times when a woman could not have owned a property. There were times like that also, that a woman cannot be an owner of a property. Even if she has contributed with hard work or money, she could not have been the owner of the property. So now, altogether, it is that we understood that as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, we have the property rights in the property, and it is not just that some judgment has come, but specifically we have the codified rights of women in the property. And these rights, including that of the customary as well, or say for example, in the Muslims, the Quranic rights we have, even those can be implemented and enforced by way of civil suits in the court. You can go to the court and ask for the enforcement of these rights. Even for the tribal women, there are inheritance laws, and they can also claim their rights in the properties. Now, problem is, and that's what I have seen, is that a woman is not aware of these rights. She feels that if there is a brother, he will get all the property in whatever the father has given. Father's self-acquired property, father's ancestral property. For example, there is a Hindu undivided family, and of course now because of Section 6 co-parsonary rights the woman will have. Otherwise also she will get the property anyways, ancestral property. Now a woman thinking that she will not have right in the self-acquired property of the father, that's a mistake. If a father dies intestate and he has a self-acquired property, that may be immovable or movable property as well, the daughter will have equal right in that property also. So we need to be very clear about it, that even in the self-acquired property, a woman will have the right the way she has the right in the ancestral property. That is one mistake that most of the females do. And in the Muslims, once a daughter is married and she thinks that now I will not have any right in the property of my father, that is wrong. She still has the right in the property of the father, and she can claim it. 1/3, she can always claim it at any point of the time. Now, what happens is that in Muslims, like the Daya school, till the head is alive, the distribution is not done. So once the distribution happens, she can always go and claim for it. Many a times also it can be claimed from the brothers by whatever way, either the share of that property or the money equivalent to that property. That goes for the females in the other religions as well. So overall, the gist is that today we are in the times where the rights of women in the properties, it is secured by way of the law and by the personal laws. Unfortunately, the women, they are not aware of it, and women who are aware of it, they do not want to enforce it, and women who do enforce it, they are criticized and they are sort of looked down by the family members. That's very unfortunate, and it is in all the communities. They say that she is seeking a part of the property from their brothers and all. The woman that I was talking about, that Christian lady from Kerala, the case is Mary Roy versus State of Kerala, 1986 it is. In that also they said that the customary law, it says that if a woman has already got Istridan, she gets married, we have spent money on her marriage, and she has got items and things from us. So after that, she cannot claim the right in the property. That is why she was thrown out. Now, in other people, I have also seen, where the females, they claim the right in the property, and they, many a times a woman is compelled to go to court to enforce her right in the property. So many a times I have seen people saying that they spent so much of money in her marriage, and because she was married off. That is why, and already money has been given to her. Now, I ask myself and to everyone here that is it that when a boy is married, we do not spend money in his marriage? Money is spent in his marriage also, and the parents spend that. But we do not question, right? And he is, and we have seen that most of the times they get the dowry also. The wife also brings money. So much is given. So then they should not get anything from the father's estate. They already, they are paid for the marriage. Then they are living in the house of the father only. The sister, she just gets the money for the marriage and some money. Then she does not even she does not even stay in the father's house. She stays with the husband. So these are very stupid, reasons which are used by people for not claiming right in the property or criticizing people who claim right in the property. Now, I think we do not have much time. So, bringing closure to this topic, I would actually want to invite questions if any one of you want to ask me something.
If anyone has any questions regarding the topic which we have discussed today, please type it in the text box if that is possible for everyone. Apart from that, whoever wants to ask questions personally by way of unmuting themselves can please just raise their hands and we will unmute them. Thank you. Yes, Harshit, you may ask your question.
I want to ask to ma'am is that if we suppose that the amendment bill is under consideration in the parliament, if this passes, is there any change in the rights of the females?
No, see, WICCI bill is entirely different thing. And
Okay.
inheritance, that is a different law altogether. So that will not make any difference, because in WICCI properties what happens is that the beneficiaries, whether a daughter or a son, they can enjoy it equally, but they cannot dispose it off. Neither of them, the son or daughter. So it is not going to make any difference. But if there is a WICCI property, daughter and son, they are able to enjoy it equally.
Thank you.
Indumati, you may ask a question and followed by that will be easy. Izzy, you can ask a question.
Okay, hello ma'am. It was really an insightful session. Lovely to hear from you always. My question is that our legal structure has somewhat incorporated the gender basis when we talk about inheritance or property rights. But what about the intersectionality that comes with caste? How it has been tackled? Is it somewhere that it has been tackled, or is it something that we should also focus on as future lawmakers?
Caste in respect to what? In respect to the rights in the property, or
Yes, ma'am. Adivasi women and others. So when we also talk about intersection, gender and caste.
See, unfortunately, what is happening that the customary, that's unfortunate to certain extent, and I cannot say that to the larger extent it's unfortunate, because sometimes the customary laws are very important. For example, say if we take a custom of a particular religion which is being followed by them. So you cannot, maybe there are people who will say that it's okay to have something which is uniform, but there are people who would get offended. There are people who still say, for example, in Muslims, there are certain customs which we want to abide by. In Hindus, we have certain customs which we want to abide by. Say, for example, the way the marriage happens, they want it to be that ways only. So now it is already there that the tribals, Adivasis, the customary law which is given therein, somehow it is that in case it is anti-constitution, then it can be always raised and it can be chucked out. I mean, the validity can be always questioned, and if it is in violation of the Article 14, like for example, I was talking about that Mary Roy versus State of Kerala itself. But how much a person wants, how much a community themselves want that the custom should go away. Because if one issue is raised, then it might also hit on a custom which they do not want to get erased, which is with Hindus as well, with Muslims also, that not to get everything eroded, because there might be certain good things in the uniform code, but there might be certain things which will pinch us. Pinch any of the, you cannot ask a Hindu woman that you don't have this saptapati, you cannot have this this thing feras, and you just go to the registrar's place and you just get registered, this is the marriage. But you cannot force everyone. You cannot ask a Muslim woman that you go to the registrar's office and then get your marriage. She would want that nikah should happen in the manner. So therefore, it's unfortunate, yes, that certain laws which are there prevailing with regards to the Adivasis, wherein the women is not getting the right in the property, and they do not want to raise it so that other customs also do not come into the radar. But with my personal experience, what I have seen is, for example, if we talk about the Assam, I have worked on certain aspects there. I have seen therein that wherever a woman is born, in some of the areas, the boy actually after marriage goes to the woman's house to live there. And the boy gets the rights in the property of the father-in-law and has to take care of the father-in-law, mother-in-law. So that is a custom which is there, which they are following. Okay, so therefore, to a certain extent, it is good, and to a certain extent, it is not. You have to evaluate it case as per the case that is in your hand. Yeah.
Ma'am, Arakela asks in the chat box, say it in a very brief manner what he asks. Basically, what steps can be taken to increase awareness amongst women which reside in semi-rural, semi-urban and rural areas with respect to knowing about their rights, property rights, inheritance rights?
I think everybody hears Man Ki Baat. Okay, so I think maybe you can write to the Prime Minister and ask him to discuss about this topic. And because most of the people they hear that Man Ki Baat. That is one. Second is that we have these different schemes that government comes out with. say in hospitals, in schools. So there, along with whatever schemes are there, which tempts people to to go to these places. For example, a pakka house will be given to the a rural person who does not have a house, who is living in a juggi. Now all the centers, wherever it is there, maybe they can also have an awareness camp that once you will get the pakka house, then you can have the, if you are a woman, then you can have a right to dispose it off also. Your daughter can also have a right in this. All these things can be done. Also, unfortunately, we have these serials and all. Now we don't watch that, we watch web series most of the times. So there also somehow you can bring in this such issues. Social media, now we do not have, I have seen, even you might have seen reels where from the downtrodden, from the remote areas of the country, people are making reels and short reels. Even I can't make those reels. I do not know how to make those reels. They are making it. So I think social media can be used, and it should be used, because I have seen that females, they are not aware. I have seen so many widows. They have been thrown out of their father's house. They have been thrown out from their in-laws' house. They are going to these shelter homes, and they are sexually abused. So many things are happening. They are on the roads. So they are not aware. At least even if a room will be given to a woman who is left behind by her deceased husband, so there should be some law should be. And of course we have these Delhi legal service authorities, and we have legal service authorities across the country. Awareness camps are happening, and you are there. You are having these awareness camps, and you are having these seminars. So I think even if one of the members who are present in this seminar, they can inform other people, and it can spread like a fire. People will get aware.
Definitely.
Yes.
Prasadok, you can unmute yourself and ask the question which you have.
Hello, Firdouse ma'am.
Hi.
Thank you for this enlightening session. I happen to be a third-year law student at Department of Law, University of Kashmir.
Oh,
My-
that's so close to me. I have resided there for 11 years when my father.
Okay, ma'am. You have this Kashmiri attire that I saw in the first place, and the smile mainly.
Thank you.
My question is a bit comprehensive. If there is a Muslim man and he marries to a woman who is also Muslim, then after the death of the husband, I think the share that she gets, I think 1/4 from the husband's property. But if there is a non-Muslim woman that gets married to a Muslim man under the Special Marriage Act, then is the share same or different?
A very good question that you have asked, and I would want to talk about it. See, if there is a woman and she has converted by her own will, that is,
Okay.
she has become a Muslim and she has got married as per the personal laws of the Muslim, then of course she will get 1/4 and 1/6. In case she has children, then 1/6. In case she has no children, then 1/4. Now, in case she gets married as per the Special Marriage Act, that is the situation where she is not converted to the Islam. Now, Special Marriage Act is even in a situation where the male is a Hindu and the female is a Muslim. Say, for example, female Muslim does not want to convert to Hinduism. You cannot compel, and you should not compel the other person. Okay, so you cannot force someone to get married. Yes, of course, if you want that customary thing, that if you are a Hindu male and you want that the woman should take Firaz, she's a Muslim woman, but still you want Firaz, theek hai. If you want, that's your understanding. And if a woman is still Hindu and you want that she should at least participate in the nikah ceremony, but technically she is not converted and has got registered or has got marriage under the Special Marriage Act, then the personal laws are not applicable.
Okay, ma'am. That's
Yes, it is very important. And one more thing I will tell you, what is happening in our country, that it is not only Hindu-Muslim, it is also a situation where a Muslim man and a woman gets married, and the husband possibly, or maybe even a wife, she is living abroad, or the husband is living abroad, and he wants to, of course, after some time the wife would also accompany. So what is happening, that instead of waiting for the marriage certificates, what they are doing is they are getting married under the Special Marriage Act,
Mhm.
filing that affidavit and everything in the court, and then getting this immediate certificate and using it for the passport and the rest of the things. What is happening is that they are diluting their personal laws once they get that Special Marriage Act certificate. So it's very important, if some person comes to you tomorrow, a client comes to you and asks for the marriage certificate, then you can get that using the Nikah Nama. You should not get a fresh marriage under Special Marriage Act. Same thing is with the Hindus. You should not get a fresh marriage certificate under Special Marriage Act. Then your all rights under the Hindu Succession Act will go away. So if there is a Hindu man, Hindu female, they can also use their documents, that is the invitation card, the photographs, the everything that is there to show that they got married, and they can go to the marriage registrar office and they can get their certificate instead of going and getting registered under the Special Marriage Act. Wherever Special Marriage Act comes into place, personal laws goes away. You cannot claim your rights under the personal law.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks for the clarification, ma'am.
Thank you everyone for the Q&A round. We're really sorry we will not be able to entertain any more questions. While we would love to do so, but only because of paucity of time, we really cannot. Please fill the feedback form, and we would really like to thank ma'am for taking out her precious time from her schedule and coming here, sharing her insightful knowledge and expertise with everyone present here. Now we would like our President Afreen to deliver the vote of thanks.
So as we conclude this enlightening webinar on the topic Inheritance and Property Rights for Women in India, I feel privileged to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the individuals who have made this event a resounding success. As Afreen Naz, the President of DLRC, I am deeply grateful for your active participation and engagement in today's discussion. Now, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the dignitary guest and speaker, Advocate Firdouse Qutb Wani ma'am, for gracing us with her valuable time. Indeed, the session was of great help to all the people present here. I would also like to thank all the members of DLRC, NLRC, as well as all the presidents and members of different councils of Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, as we bring this webinar to a close, it is important to remember that despite legal reforms, women in India still face challenges in claiming their rightful inheritance due to social pressures, lack of awareness, and procedural barriers. Many are discouraged from asserting their property rights because of traditional practices and fear of family conflict. Achieving full equality in inheritance requires not only legal reform but also societal change to dismantle patriarchal norms. Greater access to legal aid, education, and community support is essential to empower women, enabling them to claim their rights and gain financial independence. Strengthening women's property rights is key to achieving gender equality, economic security, and social justice. In conclusion, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for your active participation. Your unwavering dedication to the cause of justice is truly inspiring. Now, so we would like to present a memento and a certificate to our esteemed guest speaker, Advocate Firdouse Qutb Wani, as a token of gratitude. So I kindly request Anusha to share this through screen sharing. Please play the video.
Thank you so much.
So with that, we conclude the webinar. I encourage all participants to fill out the Google feedback form to receive your certificate of participation. The link has already been shared in the chat box. So thank you all for your unwavering commitment. We look forward to seeing you at our upcoming events. Thank you all. Farewell. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Gracing your presence today, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Everyone is supposed to leave the